September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and tonight we focus on a nationwide mental health crisis happening with first responders. Marty Salt explains how constant exposure to trauma can take a significant toll on their well-being.
From fires to fatalities, Assistant Fire Chief KJ Watts has seen it all over the past 26 years.
In a normal person's span of life, they may see 3 to 4 traumatic events, and we see 700 in a career.
And all of that tragedy takes its toll.
It's a lot of insomnia, a lot of messed up sleep rhythms, irritability, anger issues.
30% of first responders experience mental health problems, including depression and PTSD. Studies show firefighters and police have a higher rate of suicide attempts than the general population.
They call it death by 1,000 cuts, so it was a culmination of many, many different traumatic events.
Chief Watts finally found the Save a Warrior program. It brings together active military, veterans, and first responders. But he stresses what helps one person may not help another. Lieutenant Wright agrees.
I actually had 6 what I would call strikeouts before I found a program that worked for me.
He says he was overcome with insomnia and anxiety. Rafi, a trained service dog, came to his rescue.
She can actually sense my body chemistry changing long before I do. Or if I get really anxious, she actually jumps up on me and almost simulates what looks like giving me a hug.
Chief Watts founded the Phoenix Project, which provides financial support to nonprofit organizations that support first responders.
I want them to know that it's okay to have problems. It's okay to talk to people. It's okay to raise your hand and say, something's wrong.
Working to save the ones who dedicate their lives to saving us. Marty Salt, WGEM News.